Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and welcome to kind of a special edition of Let's Taste, and an edition that I kind of don't know what's going to happen. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. I and my entire family unfortunately lost my grandmother in September of last year, and as we've gone through the emotional process of going through her house, I discovered in the cupboard under her stairs bottles of wine that had most definitely been there for quite a while. My grandmother wasn't much of a wine drinker, really. I'm not entirely sure why she kept them for so long, but I can sort of assume that she just never thought to open them. So I have invited, we're having kind of a grandchildren's barbecue here today, and we're going to be opening up these bottles and tasting them and talking about our grandmother and, you know, and how important she was to all of us. So I thought in advance of them coming, I would sort of open the bottles up just to see, you know, how good they are, and I thought that I would share that experience with you. So, like I say, I honestly don't know how well these wines have held up. I'm not even sure whether these wines were designed to be kept for a long period of time. I'm not sure about the long-term storage conditions of her cupboard under the stairs. So I thought I'd just see what happens. So I think I've kind of got them in an order, probably, I guess, from lightest to heaviest, and finishing with something a little bit different. So, probably the youngest one, I think, is the 2005 Moorilla Estate Claudio's Reserve from Tasmania, I believe. This is probably the one that's, yes, definitely the youngest, best condition. You might be able to see that I have, you know, taken this straight out of the cupboard, so they still have all that dust and stuff on them. I haven't kind of cleaned them down. I thought it would maybe add to the experience. So let's see if the cork is held up. Sounds good, smells good. The wine's clean, so free of any cork issues, which is great. It's quite light in colour, very earthy. Lots of dried fruits, dried raspberries, dried herbs. It has a sort of a burnt edge to it. Perhaps one of my Tasmanian friends can tell me what the 2005 vintage was like. For me, it's reasonably characteristic of Tasmanian Pinot Noir, so fairly intense, darker, not necessarily fruit, but I guess more in the structure of the wine itself, the tannins being, yeah, very smoky. So who knows, it might be a product of the wine. It might evolve as it opens. Let's taste. Still very youthful, still quite intense. It's getting a bit of suppleness, I think, being 10, 11 years old. Yeah, the burnt kind of character, the sort of toasty, smoky notes, sort of a little bit of smoked meat coming through a little bit more subtly on the palate. So I think people are probably going to enjoy this wine. It's a good start. Let's move on to the second wine. This is a Yalumba Barossa Shiraz, 1999. Now, there's nothing on the label that indicates if it's a particularly special bottle or wine from a vineyard or a special blend. I think it was before they had the Y series. Perhaps someone can correct me on that one. My assumption would be, like, the closest estimation I can make with this one is that it is essentially like an estate wine. So I'm going to use my cork forks, just because the bottle's a bit older, so I'm a little bit less sure of using the corkscrew. One of the good indications about whether a wine is designed to be kept for a long time is the length of the cork. A longer cork is more likely to be used for a wine designed to be aged. So the length of this cork, like if you just compare these first two, the length of that cork leads me to believe that this really isn't a wine that was designed to be kept for a long time. So this certainly will be interesting to see how it's fared. Might just get a spittoon. It might be an idea. It might be a good idea to rinse the glass. The wine's still got colour. Not sure it's the best shape though. It's still there. You can see the colour. It has sort of gotten more of a reddy brick approaching brown colour. It's reasonably dark, more closed. Some red fruits in there though. Some blood plums. But definitely it's showing a bit of age. It's more in that tertiary area of aromatics. Earthy, leathery. Let's taste. It's actually held up pretty well. Considering the wine I don't think is designed to be kept for a long period of time. It is drying out though. The tannins are looking a little bit tired. The fruit's less kind of exuberant on the palate. It's still quite drinkable, but I dare say it's probably seen better days. Still pretty good considering. Okay, moving on. Now we have Hamelin Bay, 2002 Margaret River Rampant Red, which is a Cabernet, Shiraz and Merlot blend. So, I don't think I've ever had a wine from Hamelin Bay, so this should be interesting. The Cabernet is very, very dominant. I'm not sure if it was the same over in Western Australia as it was here in Southeastern Australia. 2002 was a very, very cool vintage. My assumption is that it was similar in WA because that's showing the Cabernet as being very minty and leafy, very sort of stalky and a little bit underripe. It is looking very dusty and earthy, which is partly a Margaret River characteristic, but I think it's also a product of its age. Let's taste. Still very fresh on the palate. It's on the lighter side, which I think is partly a reflection of the vintage, like I say, but I think maybe it's interesting kind of seeing how Margaret River wines have changed since 2002. They are a little bit more intense and more powerful, and this is a lively, lighter style. I'm not sure if this is kind of was at the starting point for Hamelin Bay. It could have been like an entry-level wine. Maybe they kind of declassified stuff for single variety, more premium wines, and blended it together for this wine. But that's actually looking quite good. It's certainly the style of red that I like. Light, fresh, vibrant, clean fruits, and a lot of oak character. But definitely the dustiness is showing. It's looking a little, dare I say it, it's approaching kind of a mouldy dustiness. So I really don't think that this will go much further. So got it at the right time. Back to South Australia now. We have Richard Hamilton Hut Block Cabernet Sauvignon 2002. I'm not sure. Medium term cellaring. I'm not sure what they consider medium term. Richard Hamilton. Again, 2002 vintage, so it's possible that it's going to show the cooler conditions. Mclaren Vale, you would argue, is a touch warmer than the Margaret River. I'm not sure if Hut Block is a sort of a single block or single vineyard. I'm assuming Hut Block, single block. Now there you can see a slightly longer cork than the previous few. So I think this is probably a more premium wine that is designed for a bit of cellaring. Already a bit of a difference in colour, darker, more intense, less brick red, a little bit more purple. This is much more varietal Cabernet Sauvignon, much more kind of plum, cassis, black currant, sweet, dark fruits. Really impressive considering its age, that it's still very vibrant in the fruits, and even a little bit of floral as well. Let's taste. Juicy, juby, very fresh. This is a wine that actually belies its age. If you look at that, you probably wouldn't be far off guessing that that was a sort of a 5 to 7 year old wine. Considering that it is a 13, 14 year old wine, it's still showing really, really well. Very impressed with that as far as the quality over time. But it is very clean, varietal characteristics. It's definitely showing Cabernet Sauvignon, which I would say is a reflection of the ripening ability that they have in the Mclaren Vale for those kinds of varieties. Cabernet Sauvignon doesn't have as many difficulties ripening as it would in the slightly more challenging vintages that you might see in more marginal climates like Mclaren Vale, like Noir. So pretty good, and it's held up very well. The final wine, to a certain extent, is an anachronism of a previous generation of wine drinkers in Australia. It is what is labelled as a vintage port. Jolimont, Ravelglen. Now, I'm not sure what Jolimont is. I know there's a Jolimont station here in Melbourne, but this is a Rutherglen vintage port. Now, of course, since 1987, there are labelling restrictions as far as calling wine port, because it takes its name from Porto in Portugal, where the style is made famous. I think they tend to... Oh, there goes the cork. Not a good start. Okay. There's quite a bit of allergen there. I reckon this is probably taken already. It's just occurred to me. Alright, I don't know if this wine is going to be actually drinkable or not. Let's see. I would guess not. I guess no one told my grandparents that vintage port shouldn't be kept after opening it for more than maybe a couple of weeks. I'm reluctant to taste it, but alright, here we go. It smells very volatile. It's not too bad. I'd say it's probably aged a lot faster than it probably should have, considering it was already open. You know, I guess it's lucky that it has the fortification that's held together for so long, but yeah, it's not in an ideal condition. So, not possibly not the best way to finish, but I think 4 out of 5 of these bottles are very good. I think 2 out of 5 are exceptional, and I'm pretty impressed. So, thank you very much, guys, for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for sharing the experience with me. If you did enjoy the video, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments section. Subscribe to the Intrepid Wino channel on YouTube. Send me a message. Come to the website intrepidwino.com, and I hope to see you on the next Let's Taste video. But until then, cheers.